The visas to create a business in France. Do you want to start a business in France or maybe continue to run your current business activity from France? There are 4+1 visas that you want to know about before you apply for the right one. In this video, I will detail the main information for each one of them. So first, the Entrepreneur Libre Profession Visa. Second, the Talent Passport Business Creator Visa. Then the Talent Passport Innovative Business Project. Careful, opposed to all the other visas detailed in this video, this visa requires a sponsor. I will tell you more about it later in the video. And finally, the Talent Passport Artistic Profession. Let's not forget the bonus visa that also allows you to run a business in France and that no one expects. Stay tuned as I will reveal it later in the video. So whether you are a startupper, an entrepreneur, a freelancer or an artist, there is a visa for you to start your new venture in France. Bonjour, I'm Giga, a French young expat and also an international relocation expert. I help English-speaking expats to move to France and navigate the French culture and bureaucracy to build their new French life on their own terms. So let's dive in. The first visa we'll see today is the Entrepreneur Libre Profession Visa, le visa Entrepreneur Profession Libérale. This is the easiest visa to create a business in France. However, your activity type will impact the visa request process. Most people think that this is a visa only for people under the micro-entrepreneur status because the visa is wrongly called by too many people the micro-entrepreneur visa. You can check on the France Visa platform, but you will never find a visa called the micro-entrepreneur visa. Micro-entrepreneur is the French sole proprietorship regime, or more accurately, it's a specific tax regime for sole proprietors meeting the criteria. This has nothing to do with the visa. So now that you are on the same page as the French administration, you'll avoid quite a few misunderstandings. So let's go back to this great visa, the Entrepreneur Libre Profession Visa. It applies to both people doing freelance work from France and to people incorporating a company. The main criteria to request this visa are first to prove that you can generate an annual gross income that reaches the French annual minimum wage by the end of year 1 in France, then provide a solid business plan and a multi-year financial projection. Note that you do not need to already have a business or a minimum diploma and experience to request this visa. Remember that I just said that the visa request process might differ depending on your activity type? Well, you'll also need to submit your business file to another specific entity before submitting your visa request file to the French consulate or visa center, except for people having a liberal profession activity type. If you have a liberal profession activity type, make sure you still prepare a strong business file since the French consulate will want to see it. And if you're not sure whether or not your activity is considered in France as a liberal activity, you can watch the video up there for more information. You will also find the link of this video in the description below. You should know that the business file is one of the most important of your visa request file, and most of the visas detailed in this video will need one. And this is the reason why I have included a business plan template meeting the French consulate's expectation in the France Formula program, plus a few successful business plans from other course participants. They thoroughly followed the template I provide in the course and the instructions. They adapted it to their market and business and got their visa granted. So if they did, so can you. And it will be way easier for you following their example. For more information on this program, check out the link under this video. Now, one important note on this visa. There is no dependent visa for the Entrepreneur Libre Profession Visa holders. So if you are coming to France with a married spouse, I also give you solutions in this program. Now let's see visa number 2, the Talent Passport Business Creator Visa. called le Passeport Talent Créateur d'entreprise in French. This visa is for larger scale businesses with significant investment in France. In many ways, this visa is similar to the Entrepreneur Libre Profession Visa that we've just seen. However, two criteria make it difficult to access for people just starting out their business. First, you need to have an initial investment of 30,000 euros in the business, and you should hold a master's degree or 5 years of proven professional experience at a similar level in the field you are starting the business. In addition, you should submit your business file to another special committee that will check the potential of your business in France and before you submit your visa request. This can significantly slow down the approval process as it can take longer than expected, even if there has been some improvement lately on that front. But as a general rule, anticipation is key to a successful outcome with relocation to France. But these extra requirements also come with specific advantages. First, you will be granted an initial multi-year permit of up to 4 years once you arrive in France, which gives you more time to set up the business. But watch out, the exact duration of your permit will depend on how strong your business file is. Also, a dependent visa, the Talent Passport Family Visa, is granted to your married spouse, authorizing them to work with no restriction. Now, let's talk about the Talent Passport Artistic Profession. This visa is for performers and artists coming to France to pursue their artistic careers. You will need to demonstrate that your artistic project is coherent and that your primary mission matches your artistic skills and also how you will develop them in France. The most important aspect of this visa request are how you will develop your art in France and integrate yourself into the local art network and community. How you will make a living comes after compared to the other visas that we are seeing in this video. At first glance, this can seem like an advantage. However, this minimum income requested can be difficult to live on, especially if you choose to live in Paris or other big French cities. So you need to prove that you already are an artist when requesting this visa. This means that you are already making money from your art, and the minimum income required is 70% of the French minimum wage. However, if you plan to request the French naturalization after 5 years in France, this income will not be sufficient. The French administration requests at least the French minimum wage. Note that as an artist, you can also decide to request the other visas detailed in this video if you meet the requirements. Now, the visa number 4 today is the Talent Passport Innovative Business Project, called le Passeport Talent Projet Économique Innovant in French. This is another visa to create a business in France. However, to be able to request this visa, you will need to be sponsored, which is not the case of all the other visas detailed in this video. This Talent Passport visa has been created for innovative startup founders of the tech ecosystem. This is one of the 3 visas part of La French Tech Mission Program, a fast-track procedure to boost France's economic attractiveness. There is the French Tech Visa for founders, for employees, and for investors. The Talent Passport Innovative Business Project is the one for founders, and the main eligibility criteria for this visa are to have an innovative business project that you want to develop in France, of course. Then you need to be formally accepted by one of the French Tech Visa partner incubators or accelerators via their regular process of selection. Make sure that you find the sponsor before you start requesting the visa. You need proof of sufficient annual financial resources, so in that case this means at least the French statutory national minimum wage. And the following elements will also increase your chances of visa approval. You need to emphasize on how your project is innovative and its relevance to the French market. and this includes the social and technological innovation. Also consider the environmental impact. France values eco-friendly technologies, so showcase the environmental impact of your project. Also showcase economic potential. Explain why France is chosen as the market for project development and how it benefits both parties economically. Provide a clear roadmap for the project development in the coming years. Now, the benefits of this visa, same as for the other talent passport visa, your married spouse gets a talent passport family visa, allowing them to work without restriction. You will get a 4-year permit from the start and no minimum diploma is required, which is quite unusual compared to other startup visas around the world. Now you might wonder which is the +1 visa allowing one to run a business in France. This is not per se an entrepreneur or self-employed visa, since it's not the main motive to request this visa. Here I'm referring to the French spouse visa, le visa vie privée et familiale conjoint de français in French. Yes, this visa authorizes to run a company in France and without any restrictions. This one is the best visa to get since it grants great benefits that most other visas don't. It is granted by right to a married spouse, which means that it cannot be rejected unless the consulate questions the legitimacy of the relationship. This visa authorizes one to work without restrictions in France. You can study, do several types of activity at the same time, or just remain in France. The visa also applies to same-sex marriages since the French law of May 19, 2013. Same-sex couples married before that date may have the visa granted as per past case law. Note that the PACS, the French civil partnership that I detail in another video up there, doesn't give an automatic right to the French spouse visa to come to France the way the marriage does. It will be taken into account, but it does not guarantee the visa or residence permit approval. My 2 favorite visas granting the right to start a business in France are the French spouse visa and the entrepreneur Libre Profession Visa, because they are the easiest to get compared to the others. This doesn't mean that they are easy, just easier. All the visas explained in this video, besides the Talent Passport Innovative Business Project, are detailed in the France Formula program, helping you with the full relocation process, including the visa request. So there you have it, the 5 visas to freelance or run your business in France. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a like or comment below. This helps my channel more than you think. I've also left another video here about the 6 work visas to move to France. I hope to see you there. Merci et à bientôt!